with the low
Yeah.
interest rates, the positives of that obviously for investor is it's, you know, you've got just got low interest rates, so you can put less out for that down payment. What are some of the negative aspects of that? If like why won't interest rates go up? You said they're going to continuously go down. Why is that?
Yep. Well, I mean, that's kind of back to economics, is that, you know, since the 1971, US President Richard Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, right? And also in the 80s as well. Well, basically what that means is money is no longer tied to gold. So the countries have got unlimited power really to print as much as they can, as long as people believe in the money. You know, the value of the money is now backed by the confidence of the people using it. And you can't really spend physical gold or what called Bitcoin that easily, right? And then people will still back to the currency, right? The money they have, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, whatever. And then the money printing as well, the interest rate being so low is also part of the reason is the inflation, you know, because a lot of the OCR is definitely tied heavily to inflation figures, CPI and all that. But the problem was the inflation, how we measure it, is that before, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it was 1986 that the US moved away, basically excluding house prices in the way they measure inflation. So what happens is the double inflation, you know, as high as 19% in the 70s, all of a sudden, because of that change, all of a sudden dropped to single figures, the inflation. So now we are seeing inflation around 1 to 2% range, but the thing is it does not include house prices, right? So it's not, depends how, you know, you pretending about economics and, you know, whether it's, so basically the goalposts have changed essentially. And because of the inflation, well, official inflation figures so low that there's no incentive to push up interest rates. And because of obviously this COVID ravaging economies all around the world, you know, especially UK, US, etc., you know, the second wave, whatnot, then obviously it's not giving any confidence to the business sector, right? Probably in reverse. Actually, people are more pessimistic outside of New Zealand, especially. So definitely central banks are not going to push up interest rates in this environment. You know, you'd rather them be safe than sorry. So, you know, like a lot of economists like Tony Alexander, etc., they're all predicting interest rates going to be staying low for longer. And also you got to remember too, you know, interest rate these days are so low that a very small number increase actually results in quite a substantial increase percentage-wise. You know, like for example, before the GFC in 2008. OCR was like 8.5%, floating rate was 10%. So when and then 2002, the interest rate was around 7%. So from 7% to 10%, 30% increase, right? I think, or 40%. Yeah, 3 divided by 7. Anyway, my math is terrible, so it's something like that, right? But so from so let's just say 2.39% to go up 40%, you're looking at about 3 point something, right? So it doesn't take a big increase to as a percentage, to big percentage. And obviously, you got to think about if governments put up the interest rates, that's gonna, what that means is that businesses, homeowners, investors, you know, whether it's commercial, residential, they all have to pay more. So when the increase gets to a certain point, then obviously a lot of businesses generally can't afford it, right? Businesses start to go under, etc. And that's actually gonna, eventually, when the interest rate is too high, it will have a flow-on effect, which is going to bankrupt some businesses. And obviously, economy will go with it, right? Go the other direction. And then they have to lower interest rates. So the cycle continues like that, right? So, but anyway, the long story short is that, interest rate is going to be, appears to be lower for longer.